Hey, welcome to College Talk Tuesday with your hosts, us, Pearl and Andy Lockwood. Hello, Pearl.
Hello, Andy. Hello, everyone.
College Talk Tuesday is one of our many outreaches to parents of college-bound teens who are stressed out and confused and overwhelmed with the whole college process. That means getting into college. That means paying for college. Could also mean test prep.
What am I going to study in college?
Right. Am I going to stay at the college that I
Right.
thought I loved?
Yeah.
How do I choose a list of colleges, etc. So that's what we're all about. And College Talk Tuesday is kind of a here's what you should be doing now type of show that airs every Tuesday at 12 Eastern. And we also have, and we just started this as an experiment, every Friday at 9 o'clock we do a free hour of coaching. That is right here on this page also. That is our college coffee talk. So grab a cup of coffee every Friday at 9 and just ask your questions and I will answer them. Sometimes I can rope Pearl in, sometimes I can't. I think that's the way it's going to be. Last week we had a pretty lively discussion. Yeah.
Sure did.
You showed up actually.
Yes. For a moment.
Yeah. But we had about 20 to 25 people just kind of, asking questions. So it's a free opportunity to bring your burning questions. That's every Friday. But today, on College Talk Tuesday, we're going to be talking about recent admissions results because they've started to roll in for early decision and early action kids, as well as rolling decision. And what you can learn from that if you have a younger kid. We're also going to be talking about if you've been deferred, what are some strategies to implement to try to get off what we used to call the wait list, the deferral list, and what it really means in some cases. And we're also going to talk about the financial aid shenanigans that are happening. Some good, some not so good, some just neutral and just annoying and paperwork intensive.
This is the way it works. Yep.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. And if you are joining us live, please introduce yourselves, say hi in the comments section, and same thing if you're watching on replay, say hi. And if you have any questions, this is the place to ask them right here in comments. And again, one more plug, feel free to join us every Friday at 9 on College Coffee Talk. That's a free hour of coaching for your burning questions. Okay, so let's go over, we've had our clients once again have every year have gotten into some terrific, really hard to get into schools. So we've had kids get into Stanford and Yale and Cornell, but to be fair, we've also had some kids get rejected and deferred at. We had a bunch at Penn this year who are both deferred and flat out rejected. We've also had plenty of kids at slightly easier, less competitive schools get in. I just found out, I guess 2 days ago, from a great kid, Peter, who got into his top choice school, American University, and got a great scholarship offer. And I think early in the summer, the parents were or the mom was kind of freaking out. Wasn't even sure if he was going to get in there at all. But he really, pulled through. Eagle Scout, worked his butt off in terms of his essays and all that. So that was very cool. So it's nice. It's nice. It's very gratifying. We always root for our clients, so it just makes us feel how great about being in this field, able to help kids with this whole process. And I think we were talking about this. I think you and I were talking about this recently. There's many different ways to make a living, and there's some people who go to Wall Street and they're just there to make a ton of money or whatever. Which is fine, that's great, but I don't think the feeling they get is the same as when I don't think as the feeling that we get when we're able to help kids get into schools they didn't think they were going to get into, or help the parents afford schools,
help make their dreams honestly a reality, or get them closer to their realities,
or make them less stressed.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's just, I already got sidetracked. So what happens if you get deferred? What does it mean, and what can you do to increase your chances of undeferring? Okay, so it can mean a couple different things. So typically what it means is that the college admissions committee thinks that you pretty much have what it takes, but they're not sure who else is going to come in what other applications are going to come in, and so they don't want to reject you. They want to view you with in the context of who else is coming in. But it could mean other things too. It could mean, for example, the college, that particular college has a good relationship with the guidance department at that high school, and they don't want to ruin that relationship by flat out rejecting someone. It could mean that. It could mean the kid is a legacy, and they don't want to ruin any type of future monetary contributions.
Yeah.
I heard a great, I don't think I told you this, I heard a great story from, unfortunately, it was from a client whose kid was not admitted to an Ivy League school this year. And I think the lesson there, by the way, was that he chose a really hard major. And that was not, it wasn't the wrong choice, because that's what he wanted to pursue.
Right.
So he went for it, I think, from a standpoint of not having any regrets. But the story that the mom told me was about a double legacy at a I don't know if it was the same Ivy League school, but it was an Ivy League college, and the parents were big donors. I think they might have been financial, like hedge fund people or something up in Connecticut, and the kid didn't get in, and the way they found out that he didn't even get deferred, he was flat out rejected. Wow. Was that they gave him a phone call, and they said, by the way, we just want to let you know, we maybe normally in regular years we would have let him in, but here are the other kids that he was in the group with that we had to, not from his high school necessarily, just here's
the pool of applicants and early access.
So so like one was a recruited athlete and a legacy. One was an underrepresented minority, and all these others. So there's special categories, which is sort of what no one talks about in college admissions. And to their credit, the admissions people from this school were kind of laying it out on the line just so they I guess to make them feel better, or just because they felt like
preserving the relationship again, perhaps.
Well, so and then the kicker was at the end of the conversation, they said something along the lines of, well, we hope that this doesn't jeopardize any continued financial support that you're able to offer. And they were like, yeah, bye. And how the cojones to do that. It was just staggering to me. And every year I think I've seen it all or heard it all, and then something like that happened. So anyway, so what can you do to get off the deferred list? That's what we're talking about now. And again, if you have it, I'm going to just quickly look on our site here. We are live. We have a few people with us live. If you have any comments or questions, please pop them right there in the comment section. Say hi. Let us know that we're coming through loud and clear. And please, whatever emoji you want to share, we're emoji neutral. And please share this with any friends or family or anyone that you think could benefit from this. Please. So, what do you do to get off? So, the main thing, and there's no I wish there was a magic wand. Most of the time, when our clients and other people I know from just from being connected to other people in our field, they don't get off. It really depends on the school. The super competitive schools are very hard to get off of. That being said, we've had kids get off the wait list at Duke and at Brown. Yeah, right. So the recipe that they all followed is merely, number one, letting the school know that you're still very, very interested. Yeah, still interested in going. I mean, that's please, if you were to let me off the deferred list, I'm 100% committed to attending. It's my dream college. That's why I applied early, or whatever. Any type of updates, any new grades or accolades or any type of award, that type of thing, that should also be sent to the school, probably in the same letter. You don't want to overdo the communications. To say, just please, I just want to update you. I had a great quarter, with my grades, and my team won. This, my debate team won this award or something.
Right.
That is all important to tell them about. So and then my third comment, my last one. This is going to be a little out of the box, but if you've watched us for any length of time, you've probably come to expect that. And this advice I'm about to give was actually substantiated by one of the women who works for us, who's a former admissions officer from a super, super elite college. She was there 5 years, and I ran this by her before I gave the client the thumbs up to go ahead and do this. So we have a client who was waitlisted at a top school, top 12 college, and we're talking about ways to to update them just the way I mentioned. And I said, let's try to be a little creative with this. You got nothing to lose. let's try to stand out a little bit. Try to be fun. You know, I think your application conveys how, you know, serious you are and how qualified you are, because this is a kid who has one of the greatest resumes ever that, you know, I've seen in 17 years. I mean, he's up there. Okay? Right. So I said, but, you know, maybe showing a different side of you will help. So we went back and forth, and I said, you know, why not do a song? Because he plays an instrument. He plays, I don't want to give it away too much. I don't know who's going to know this, but he plays a fun instrument. Okay. Okay, it's not an instrument like there's no, like if you play this instrument, there's no way.
The fun violin?
Well, right, that doesn't necessarily convey fun. The way, not really. This is not the instrument the way a banjo does. Like, right. You've never heard of an angry banjo guy, right? I mean, there's so that is a fun instrument, right? It's a happy, right? So that's not his, but he's, you know, something similar to that. So I said, yeah, why don't you do that? So he wrote some lyrics, which I'll show you when we're off the air, which are, you know, so great and not long, not inappropriate by any stretch of the imagination, and just fun. And it'll go along with, you know, without whatever else he's doing to update them. He's got something to update them on. And I ran it by, you know, Sarah, the woman I mentioned before, former admissions officer, and she was like, you know, I love this. It kind of breaks up, you know, the monotony of being an admissions officer. It helps them stand
those
up.
Applicants, I assume, want the song singing time.
Yeah, depending on the school, right. Some schools are a lot more uptight than others. Right. For example, and this is not his school, Wharton. I wouldn't do this at Wharton.
Sing at Wharton.
Well, you know, they're not looking for Corky at Wharton. I don't know if we covered that before. That's a different story. A different story for another time. So anyway, don't overdo the updating and the, you know, song singing or whatever it is that you do. But you need to communicate and let them know. Sometimes if there's an additional recommendation that comes in, fine. You know, that I don't know if that's going to help as much as, again, you demonstrating that you're interested. Again, please let me in type of thing. But that could help too. Right? So those are my comments.
Anything that pulls your name out of the pile.
Yeah, you know, I tell this story a lot about Pearl. Along those lines, this is more on the admissions side, but one of my favorite stories about Pearl is that, and I'm going to talk about it like she's not here, but you're here. So after she graduated Cornell, she didn't work for a couple of years.
I worked for a couple of years.
I'm sorry, she worked for a couple of years, but she didn't. Well, you went out to sing in the West Coast, UK. I don't know if that was considered work.
No,
but anyway, the point is that she applied to a bunch of law schools 2 years later, and did not get into the first 1 or 2 elite colleges. And then she was like, okay, I better do something about this, right? So she put on her business suit, probably the one business suit that you own, which I'm sure you still fit in. Okay. And got her application and resume or something, and marched it into the admissions at St. John's Law.
And I took another something that I thought could give a little more color to my application that was not otherwise presented in my application. It was some project I had worked on in college in an internship, and the culmination of it, and I used it sort of, I mean, as a pretext to have a reason to go there and show up. And
so instinctually, you were standing out. You're marketing yourself.
Right.
Yeah, it's hustle.
That's right.
Right. So I think if you show a little drive and hustle to get off the wait list at your dream school, that could help. You never know. And tell the story.
So
tell the denouement of the story.
So the end of the tale is I had gone face to face to walk myself into the St. John's Law admissions office, introduced myself, shook hands, was, you know, perfectly appointed looking attorney-like, and said I had something I wanted to add to my application while they're still considering me for admission.
Oh, you hadn't applied yet?
I had applied. I hadn't heard yet.
Got it.
I hadn't heard yet.
Okay.
But I had heard from some, and I was like, I want to shore this up. I'd like to go to this school. Walked in, you know, had this conversation with an assistant who was there. She got up. She went over to a huge file cabinet. She opened, I swear, she opened a drawer, thousands of files. She found my file. She pulled it up, whatever. She took whatever I gave her. She took it, and it went into some office on someone's desk. The next day.
She told you she was doing that, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I watched it happen. P.S. I got admitted 2 days later.
Right. So she probably put on the
you know, and I felt confident but for I don't know if I wouldn't have, but I don't know if I would have heard 2 days later. So
yeah,
it was something that stuck with me. Definitely worth a try.
Then we met in law school and got married, and now we have 4 kids and one's in college. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit now about financial aid and I guess some scholarship stuff. So kids are starting to hear back. It's the middle of December. They're starting to hear back from some schools. Some are hearing about financial aid. Some are not.
Right.
Is that a problem?
No. See, unfortunately, or fortunately, or just so you know, once you do know, you won't be too alarmed, that there isn't one way that financial aid award letters are communicated to the applicants. And that depends on the school. It varies in many ways. Here's how. First, when your priority financial aid deadline is determined by how you're applying. And that will also determine when you will hear. If you're applying early action, early decision, then you're likely to start hearing in December. And
you get that?
December, January. But for other schools that are rolling admission or regular admission, you may not hear until April. Sometimes you will receive the financial aid award letter with your letter for admission. Sometimes they'll come separately. Sometimes you'll get a letter for admission, and then weeks later you'll get your financial aid award letter. Sometimes you're not going to be sent anything, and the onus will be on you, the student, for some schools that have given you login information to their own websites, and the onus is on you to log into that site to retrieve your financial aid award letter. And again, the point is it varies. So don't be alarmed if the first 2 schools you receive admissions decision and then you hear that you get an award letter and you know what's what, and then the next 2 schools you get an admissions letter but then you don't hear anything about finance. Does that mean you're not getting anything? No, it means no matter what, if you have put in for financial aid, even if you do not qualify for any need-based financial aid, okay, you will still have triggered the system and that school to render you a financial aid award letter that may be completely comprised of, here are loans we are offering you the opportunity to take.
Congratulations.
Yay, so that you can come and pay us. So, just so you know that...
no, it's actually so that the government can pay us,
right?
And we don't have, we don't care what happens to you.
Exactly.
It's just we're getting third party pay.
But come learn here.
Yeah.
So
come enjoy our rock climbing walls and other benefits.
There is the lack of consistency, so don't be alarmed if you hear one way from one school and then you don't from others. And the other thing is, in terms of what each school will require of you in making such a determination, will also not only vary between the schools, but will also vary between the applicants. If you have a self-employed business owner at a particular school, in some schools, they want those, not only your personal tax returns, but also your business tax returns and the K-1s you've received. From some schools. Right. And so you should not be concerned if only one school is asking you for that information, but another one isn't. So does that mean they're not interested? No, it may just mean that they don't consider that information in their analysis. And that's fine too. The other big thing I want to clear up for those of you who are wondering, the financial aid deadlines are met when you file your financial aid forms. And subsequent requirements are just part of what you need to be responsive to in order to further the school coming up with an award letter for you.
You mean they're not missing?
They're not.
You're not penalizing you for not meeting their minds and submitting it ahead of time?
Correct. This is a process that is simply triggered by the financial aid forms being filed. That's not the end, that's the beginning. The other thing I want to also let everyone know is your financial aid application really, and it, whether you're sending in your tax returns to or not or whatever, that has nothing to do with whether you have the admissions acumen for getting into a school. They have nothing to do with one another. If you don't get in, you don't get in.
Acumen?
Yeah, chops. If you don't have what it takes to get into a skill, to get into a specific school, it's not because you
didn't fill out the financial aid forms correctly.
Correct.
Yeah,
it is not.
Yeah, so a lot of people. I guess you've gotten some emails about that. So don't confuse if you've already applied to college and they're still asking you to correct stuff on your financial aid forms. That doesn't mean you're not going to get into that college, or
you may not.
It doesn't mean that.
But it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, you might get in. In fact, if you, like in the case I think you were referencing, if you have no shot at getting financial aid,
it could help you.
That could help you.
It really could.
Especially at the schools on the list of that client of ours, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So don't confuse the two.
Right.
Yeah. Are you giggling because you're being tactful?
No. Yes.
Just giggling?
Sure. Yeah.
Because financial aid just makes you giddy.
Yes.
Yes. You know what made me giddy, by the way, speaking of financial aid? It's been a while since I published a revised version of 'Twas the Night Before FAFSA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's an oldie.
It's classic. Yeah, Dickensian. And, partially it's because the financial aid forms used to come out in January, which coincided a little more tightly with Christmas.
It did.
But I'm not going to let that stop me this year.
It shouldn't.
Right.
You're an artist.
Yeah, artiste.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 best-selling books. Not artful. Not best written. Best selling.
It's interesting, though. It's not a yawn.
Thanks, Pearl.
Sure.
Okay.
Very objective.
Have you read the books?
I've skimmed.
They are bathroom books. Maybe that should be the next book, College Planning for the Bathroom, because that's where most people do their reading. College Planning for your phone.
Any other good tips for the folks out there? And
Confessions of a College Planner. That's actually the next book we're working on, and that could put us out of business.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, all right. So I don't see any comments here. I think people are probably thinking about the holidays.
Yes.
But if you have any questions at all, the 2 free bites at the apple that you have are, number 1, pop them in comments right here. Number 2, if you have specific questions about your situation, free coaching every Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here, same Facebook page. It's College Coffee Talk. So grab your favorite mug of Joe or tea or whatever it is that you drink in the morning. I don't judge. And join me and potentially Pearl for an hour where we're just trying to help people with their burning questions. And the backstory is that I've kind of felt a little burnt out with all the free one-on-one consultations that I did. I think 9 yesterday, mostly back to back. And not that I don't like talking to people. It's just that 4 or 5 would have been okay. 3 would have been better. But the whole year it was a crazy year for us in terms of the volume, in terms of the people we were able to help, and I think it was very gratifying. But we need to change some things. So we're shutting down, except for very specific situations. We're shutting down the free. I'm out of the free advice business, one-on-one at least. But we wanted to accommodate people who still have questions about their own situations. So that's going to be every Friday night.
Sounds
fair?
Very generous.
Thank you, Pearl.
Sure.
I find you generous too.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think we should wrap up. Now, I think we're going to be on next week. Have we decided?
We haven't.
When's Christmas
I
actually?
think it
What
could
day of the
be-
week is Christmas? My little Jewish queen.
Let's see. It is. We can be on. It will be the day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas. Okay.
Big return day.
Return?
Returns. Gift returns.
Oh, okay. Got it. I thought
But if you can fit us in.
Yeah, I thought you meant like Return of the Jedi or of the Pearl or something.
Yeah. No.
Okay, good. All right, so we'll be back
Happy
next.
holidays.
Yeah, we'll be back here Friday at 9 for College Coffee Talk, and next Tuesday for College Talk Tuesday. And happy holidays. Yes.
Happy holidays.
All right.
Take care.
Bye bye.